Hi, I'm Christine Carpenter,
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Tong.
and we are here from University of Georgia's Accessibility and Testing to talk a little bit more about document accessibility. And today, Elizabeth came in this morning and really wanted to talk to me about something that's come up in our workshops a lot, and it is PowerPoints. Elizabeth, tell me all about your conversation starter for this morning.
Well, we've been talking about PowerPoints and how some people were having issues with their accessibility, and I realized I've been having the same issues. And in fact, I've currently have a PowerPoint that I would like to share with you that I created because I want people to come and visit Georgia. And so I made a presentation so that
Which
people
is what
from,
you usually do with your spare time.
yes, all the time, I sit around and just make PowerPoints about how I'd like people to visit Georgia.
Yeah, that's what you do.
That's what
I
I
know
do.
you well.
So this one, as I was going through it, I was like, gosh, I feel like there's something I can do that will make this more accessible for people who need just a little extra help in understanding my PowerPoint.
Okay,
So
well,
do
let's
you
take a
think I
look
could?
at it. Okay, so this is first slide, right? Well, okay, so I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody that makes some people a little prickly with me, but I will say, if you create PowerPoint with one of the built-in templates, it's going to come with built-in accessibility. It's gonna tag and things like that. I'm not saying you always have to, but I can
Oh,
already tell by glancing like this, you did not use a template. That's okay. It just means a little bit different things for what you're going to need to do to make it accessible. Because looking at
okay.
this right now, I'm pretty sure this first page, for example, is not accessible. So one of the reasons why that's true is because every single one in a template is going to have a title for your slide. And that
Hmm.
title is gives you the title tag for each slides they're going through. It helps people who are negotiating a document with accessibility tools navigate throughout the slides. I have a feeling just glancing at this that that may be not the case. So the way we check and make sure this slide has a title is we would check the accessibility checker.
Okay. I'm under review and I have check accessibility, so let's do that.
Hmm.
Okay. And it says I'm missing a slide title.
Oh no. That's okay.
All right,
Okay,
we'll
so
click
click
it.
on that for me. Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So
That's
it looks like my other slides do have titles, but this one is missing it. So let's
so we want to
see.
just go ahead and make it a slide title.
Okay. That's that's pretty easy. All right. It's showing
And
up over
again,
here.
the way we would have done that if, you wanted to build it from the ground up, and the way I presume you must have done it with your other slides is that as you're setting it up and you're doing the new slide, yeah, you would go ahead and you would use the title portion of the new slide template, which we see over there. You can go to the new slide extended, and it'll show you where the title is going to be.
Uh,
And yeah, and that's going to go
okay.
ahead and create the accessibility tag as you go. So,
Okay, cool. And then I can like design around it
yeah,
the way that I would
exactly.
like it to look. Okay.
Exactly as you want it to look, tailored to how you individually, Elizabeth, with all your artistry, would want it to look.
Awesome. Okay.
The other thing
Well,
I'd like to know is whether or not there's alt text on that image.
oh,
Oh,
well,
go
let's
ahead.
see. I think I right click and
Mm-hmm.
go to view alt text and
Mm-hmm. Oh no, Elizabeth, what have you done?
I'm so sorry. I'm so excited about how beautiful this photo was, and I
Right,
just
super
plumb
pretty.
forgot.
Yeah, plum forgetting that is just the name of the game in document formatting, and that's why we have to go back and check things. So, if you or I were making this, how would you describe that skyline?
Well, I would say this is the city of Atlanta at dusk, I think is a lovely word to use for what
I
we're looking at
do,
here.
because dusk kind of invokes that pretty softness and
Hmm.
thing that we see. So yeah, that's what I would choose. Now, we've talked about before in other presentations and other videos when it's harder to kind of guess where we're going with that image, especially for example, if you had like the picture of a carburetor from a car from the early part of the 20th century.
Uh-huh.
Describing it might be a little bit more difficult. So let's go ahead and just see what the AI has for us in case this
Oh,
was a more difficult image.
okay. Generate alt text. Oh, okay. Oh, it
Okay,
used dusk. That's nice.
that is nice.
Kind
However,
of
stuff like
long.
this is more what I would call content description, which is what we use to describe when the image is the primary data rather than the supporting scaffolding around the text, which is the primary data. So yeah,
Mhm.
this would not be a case where we would use the alt text as generated. As a matter of fact, if you had something solid, you don't even need to do this step,
I
and we
think
could
that's
just
like
pull all the rest of that out,
really
essentially.
all we need.
Right.
Photograph
Because
of Atlanta
again,
skyline at dusk.
if you get too descriptive with images that are meant to support the text, then your document becomes bulkier and more heavy, and it just becomes an overwhelming amount of information. So we don't want every image to have that level of description. But other than that, I think we're great. This
Okay.
slide's good. Let's move
All right.
on.
Thank you. All right. Cool. We're slide
Your
number 2.
choice of font and color for font
You
makes
love
me
it?
upset. I'm
Uh,
upset with you right now. I think it's bad and you should feel bad. No, okay, don't feel bad. Don't ever feel bad. But it's okay. I tell people this a lot. You really can kind of guess. This is something if you were sitting at the very back of an auditorium, if this were in the front of the auditorium, as I know you will present this to all 50 to 100 of your friends you want to visit Georgia, Elizabeth. But seriously,
gosh.
if you frame it for yourself that way, I'm sitting at the back of the auditorium. This is the text. It's just it's bad. It's hard to read. Don't
But
do this.
Christine, it
Mm.
really evokes the sense of looking through the smog in Atlanta to the car in front of you.
Sure,
Don't you think?
there's other ways we can do that. You can use that
Okay.
through description. You can use that through other things. Let's not do that via the conduit for accessing the information.
Okay. Well, then I will change it. Let's see. How about just black? Is that fine?
Black is better. We want to have a good degree of contrast. Usually you can tell just by glancing at it if you have full chromatic vision, but if you're ever not sure, there are plenty of free tools available that can go ahead and test your contrast for you.
Okay.
So let's do black on white. It's fairly simple. We know that's going to work. And most of the typefaces that you commonly use, so we're talking about Arial, we're talking about Verdana, Calibri, Aptos, and Times New Roman, those are all going to be fine. They are not going to present accessibility issues.
Oh, we'll just do
Um,
Aptos then.
yeah, that's fine.
And what do
Let's
you think about the way that I did this list so that
Well,
we can
see, that's
have,
the problem is that that's actually not a list. That's words that have hyphens in
but
between.
but
No,
Christine, the
no,
hyphens show us that
mm-mm,
it's a lit. No.
no. Because if I was a screen reader, I would say hyphen public transport is only available in very select areas, but hyphen you basically use a car, hyphen you'll be able to, okay. And the thing is, it
Yeah.
might not even read the hyphens depending on what screen reader they use. However, good news, it's really simple to fix that. You can just go ahead and grab this text. And even if you've already created your list, even if you're not building the list on the ground level from the bottom up, you can just go ahead and highlight it and grab the list tool from within
Oh,
PowerPoint and go ahead and put it on there. Okay.
okay.
And now it's going to say list of 4 items. Bullet, a public transport, it's going to let them navigate through. And if they only want to know what the last one is, they can go 3 bullets down and know that that's what's going on. So you've made it so they can navigate their document. A plus, well done, Elizabeth.
Great. Okay. I
Very
like that.
accessible now.
Thank you.
Except I don't know about that. That's what's going on with this picture of cars. What's happening with that?
Oh, well, I do
Oh,
have alt. Yeah.
yay, you have all text. Um,
Yeah. I remembered on this one.
So to review, why would you not try to list every single type of car that we can see and ascertain in this picture?
Oh, I remembered from conversations that we'd had before that we don't need all that information, that it's good enough just to give a general idea of what's happening in this picture.
Okay, sounds great. Let's move on.
Okay. All right. I love this one because I got really creative with it, and I think you're really gonna
I
understand what it feels like.
I
to be here.
do. I,
Hmm.
who have full vision, really do understand what you're trying to say about Georgia. And as somebody who's lived in Georgia for multiple decades, understand what you're saying about Georgia. And
Right?
I don't think we have to go too far to make this a slide that people who don't have a full range of vision can also, or who are using accessible technology for another assistive reason. I think we don't
Well,
have to do too much to change this.
okay. How about if I just sit next to them and I can just describe what the pictures are doing? Is that okay?
That's really what we're trying to replicate. As a matter of fact, when people get really upset about accessibility, I always say, well, what would you want to tell the person about this document if you were going to tell them what was important? And so that's what we're basically going to do. Now, this is a page where the picture is the primary data we're trying to glean. So this would be an appropriate place for content description as opposed to alt text. In other words, a more full-bodied description of what's going on.
Okay.
Also, very important, these two things aren't just there next to each other as a mistake or a happenstance. They are in contrast to one another. So, one of the
Right.
things we're going to need to include is the two images' relationship between one another. So,
Okay.
first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the alt text window, which means your quick access window. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, all right, it looks
Well,
like okay, you've already got that started.
I did. I,
Um,
I wrote something up.
so glad you included that, Pauline.
Well, that's the
That
most important part.
that is the most important part. And I think when you and I were testing this out, the AI left that out, right? It was like,
It did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
And
like,
I did use some of the AI for this
mhm.
alt text, and then I added what I felt needed to be added, and I took away some stuff I felt didn't need to be there.
Now beyond this, however, we want to include that this is not just a good description of these images, but that they are in relationship to one another. So what we're going to do is we are going to use the tools available in PowerPoint to create an additional content description document.
Oh,
A-
okay.
And a real simple way to do that is to go up to your View menu,
Okay.
and we're going to go to the Notes page. So when
Oh,
you're giving a presentation, you always have the option within PowerPoint to also have a notes screen where you can make notes for yourself so that when you're, oh, I need to remember to definitely reference the dragons. Sometimes I forget to talk about the dragons. You wouldn't forget to talk about the dragons, but go with me on this one.
right.
Okay, what we can do is this notes page can also be, since it's directly related to, it's got a relationship to each slide, which will be
Hmm.
included as part of the document. You can go ahead and put the content description here and in that content description, describe how the two images are related to one another, which
Oh,
is a
that's brilliant.
useful extra document to have. So let's go ahead and we're going to go grab the alt text from each of those images from our slide.
Grab it from here. I'll paste it under here real quick. Grab all that, go back to our notes page.
Mhm.
Paste.
All right.
Okay.
So we can go ahead and in between those two descriptions, we can say this picture is pitted against, depending on what kind of language you want to use, because again, you're sitting next to a person describing. It's pitted against a photograph of the Atlanta skyline. From
Cool.
here, you can decide whether it would be necessary to add one additional further line explaining why this contrast is significant. Or if you think it's fairly obvious, which in this case I think it is, I don't think you need to provide that much more context. But if you're ever in doubt, you can also present a further line that says, this indicates the significant difference between seasons in Georgia. So again, I, as a theater person, say trust your audience. But if we do feel like we're leaving out a key point in communication, we can always throw one more sentence in there. And
Okay.
then from here, when we were completely done with this document, we edited all the different slides and everything. We would from there further export the notes page as its own document, which could be accessed as an accompaniment to the PowerPoint. And then that would be made available to anybody who is viewing the PowerPoint so that they would also have that text version and the PDF that included the content description with its notation of what the text would be. And if you want to know how you would export that, we would go up to File, and then we would go to Print. And from print, we can actually select the notes page. So you can go down to, instead of full page slides, if you select that option, you can just say the notes page. So that can be an accessible
Oh,
accompaniment. Yeah. And it will tell you specifically that four at the bottom means it's from slide four. And that would be screen readable, that would be accessible, that would be noted so that if somebody was navigating through to say, all right, this one is, I'm not sure what's going on with that one. I will go ahead and take my accompaniment and know, this is what's going on there. And it would be a full content description for me so that I would be aware of the data that was in those images. Okay, so let's go back to your primary slideshow
okay.
and go to the next slide.
All right. This one is about our weather in Georgia.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm always going to recommend for that extra leg of accessibility that if you are making a document like this, that you not just use color for contrast, but that you also use texture. And that's fairly easy to do. You can do that, and you can do that when you're creating the graph, either when you're creating it in your design application or here. If you go to the insert screen,
Uh-huh.
you'll see that there is, a way to go
Oh,
ahead and build your charts in. So you don't always have to import it. You can build it here. And I would
oh,
always
cool.
recommend, if you have two contrasts, using two contrasts that have texturing, because if somebody has a limitation of chromatic vision, that's going to make it more obvious and clearer to them what's going on. But something
Okay.
else that can make it more clear and obvious to everyone, and this is the principle of universal design, is we want to have a key for this for sure.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
You're right.
So,
Yeah, I could just like make a text box, right? And just like plop it down here.
you definitely can, but if you're going to make a text box as your key, that is going to have to be part of your explanation when we do the alt text on this graphic. And this
Okay.
graphic in particular would, because it's the primary data on this page, we would actually have to go ahead and go back into content description.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and
Well,
look at the alt text.
I do have some on here.
Since this is the primary data on our page, we're going to have to explain this graph such that it gives them the information we would want a sighted user to immediately glean. We do not have to list every single number there. We do not have to list, but we do need to more or less give them indication of what the spectrum is and give them where the information we want them to glean lies on that spectrum. We need to go ahead
Okay.
and give them an idea of the data. So this is one of those places, and again, it sounds like I'm really pushing AI. I have this relationship with AI that it can be a really useful starting place, or if you don't know how to get started on giving a lot of information about a topic that you do not feel 100% qualified as an expert to represent. However, you always have to edit it. You usually have to cut it down, and you always have to check its work. You cannot operate with AI any other way.
Right.
So, well,
Use
let's generate
AI.
the alt text and see.
Okay.
Okay, so a climate graph showing average monthly temperature. All right, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about that spectrum. And the
Uh-huh.
precipitation for a location at 310 meters of altitude. Okay, so when
I'm
it
just going to
gives us
change that
that,
to Georgia.
mhm, for Georgia, blue bars represent, and again, if we had moved this to texture, this might be something like shaded areas, represent monthly precipitation in millimeters and inches, peaking in January and December, while the red line shows the temperature in centigrade and Fahrenheit, rising from above 5 degrees centigrade in January to a high near 27 degrees centigrade in July before declining again. Okay.
I can definitely work with that. Like I could take what they have there and expand on it a little bit to really get the point across for
But
this
either
graph.
way, we're seeing that it's telling you how it's measuring it. It's telling you what the
Hmm.
time span is. And without giving you every single increment, it's telling you this is happening monthly. This is the degrees by which we're climbing, and this is where the significance is. That's the kind of data we're looking at when we're seeing a figure as the primary data delivery system for a document. And that's the things that we need to make sure that we include in our content description. So with a
Okay.
little editing, that would be what we would keep in terms of our content description. And honestly, I would go ahead if I was doing this in addition to the alt text, since we already had a notes page with another content description, I'd go ahead and add this to the notes page as well. So it was an accompaniment as well. So
Okay.
that is how I would do this particular page to make it accessible. Okay,
Awesome. Okay. You ready to see the next slide?
I am ready to see the next slide. Bring it on.
Okay. This one's about our beautiful Lake Lanier and about
Cool,
how
cool,
there's
cool.
definitely no alligators in that lake, for sure.
Yep, it's a very safe lake to swim in. It
Yep.
it is not. Disclaimer for those of you at home. I'm not saying don't go swimming in Lake Lanier. I'm saying you have to know their safety concerns
Bring a
about,
buddy.
yes, bring a friend. Don't go swimming alone. Definitely don't go swimming alone at night. Uh, when you can't see very well. It's a lake
It
where
might not be
you
a log. It's probably a
yes.
log.
So be careful swimming in Lake Lanier. Have a good time. Just take some precautions. All right. Well, I'm a little concerned because it looks like you've thrown some text boxes around this image, and that's not in and of itself necessarily a problem. I
I thought it
do
looked nice the way that they were kind of, artistically
giving it a hug.
smattered,
They're just
scattered.
just holding them in.
Hmm.
The only thing is, my concern here is that somebody who's navigating around this with, say, a screen reader or digital braille display, knowing which order you wanted to read them in would be my concern. So let's go ahead and check the
Uh,
reading order on this.
okay.
And don't worry too much about that because if they aren't in a good order, it's really easy to fix.
Okay.
Let's
So
go to
we go to
review. Yep.
and reading order pane.
Yep. It has its own
Okay.
reading order panel. And then it's going to
Oh,
tell you. It's going to tell you where each of those things get read. So you can go down that list and say, well, yeah, I do want it to start at the top with the title, which, because you made that part of the slide correctly, is designated as it should be. Hooray, hooray.
uh-huh.
But is
Yeah, it's not doing
anything,
what I wanted though.
oh,
I
okay.
wanted this to be first,
Yeah.
second, third, and fourth. So it's
So
not.
you can just drag and drop and fix those right up. Put them exactly in what order you want them to be read in.
Okay. So that's one. That's two,
Mhm.
three, and four.
Alrighty.
Okay, that's the way I like it. Yeah.
And now that's how easy it is. It's fixed up. It's done. It's going to read in the order you want it to read. And all you had to do is
Awesome.
just slide it around where you wanted it to go. That's all it
Yeah.
takes. Let's go ahead and check out the image and it's all text.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So no. Mm, I mean,
Is it not
but why
it's
don't
not
you tell
enough?
me? Why don't you tell me what's wrong?
Oh, well, it is a serene photograph of Lake Lanier, but I can see that some of the vital information is missing from this alt text.
So what are we going to add to that?
I don't know. What do you think I should say?
Say an additional icon indicates there are no alligators.
Alligators.
And one of the things we would definitely do is leave this here rather than explaining further. Well, it means there's no alligators in the water. It means you should not bring an alligator. It means we actually don't know what that image means. And it's purposeful that you're being a little cheeky here. Um, and we're leaving that vagueness there because that is part of the humor of the image. It's a question mark that implies itself. No alligators?
Maybe.
So
Yes, definitely.
we are not gonna over explain because we want to leave that there exactly the way it is for where close as possible it is for a sighted user so that there is that question mark that's implied. Because we look at that and we go, really? I don't know. Maybe that's what they mean.
That's what they
Um,
tell me.
that's what they're telling me. Okay. So again, we want the alt text to also include the vagueness of what we are experiencing as sighted users.
Okay.
Okay, let's see the last one. What have you got for me? I'm excited.
Okay. So, I wanted people to like not just be in Atlanta and Lake Lanier, which are kind of close to each other, but I want them to explore more of the state. And so I chose a couple of spots in Georgia that people might want to go see. And to help them find out more information, I've included these links for them.
Okay, good in principle, but let's
Uh-huh.
talk about these links because these links are not accessible links. It,
Oh,
I
but there
know
everything's there.
it is, everything's there. And you know what? I run into maybe that question more than any other in terms of making things accessible is people say, I have given you all the information. It's like, correct. But similar to somebody who won't stop talking to you on a bus, and then at the very end of that conversation, they say, oh, but of course you remember my dog's name. No,
Uh,
you've been talking to me for an hour now, and I don't remember. It's been too much coming at me too fast, and I haven't been able to, really parse that. So, similarly, when you get a string of this URL description, it's going to say Helen, not actually German, HTTPS colon backslash bash slash exploregeorgia.org slash article. Okay,
right.
no, we
Okay, I
don't
get it.
want that.
Okay.
What we want, and good for you, you already have a great title for your hot link here. You can go ahead and just
Uh-huh.
highlight that URL and
Okay.
clip it out. You can just cut it.
Okay.
Okay, then highlight Helen, which is actually a great title for this link. Right click it
Yeah.
and go to link.
Uh-huh.
Now, in that address, that is a perfect home for the address to live. It's got its name on it and everything. And say, okay,
Oh, look at that.
now the screen reader is going to say Helen. And depending on their settings, it's going to say link, letting them know this is where they could go see something. And they know that link is named Helen. So they know they're going to either go to Helen, Georgia, or maybe find a person named Helen, but they are smart. So I bet they have an educated guess at which one it's going to be. Same thing with Populicate.
No, it's actually hope you like it.
Hope you
Mm-hmm.
like it.
Yep.
Okay.
Just
Yep.
like it's spelled.
Fantastic. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to see you do the same thing, please.
Okay. So I'll grab the link, take it out, highlight. It really wants to fix
I
the
know it's like, let
spelling.
me fix this spelling, please. It
No,
reminds
add it to
me.
dictionary.
Oh, that's smart.
Okay.
There we go. Reminds me of you. I want to fix it. We will be doing demonstrations of things, and I'm like trying to show the problem, and Elizabeth's in the background going, I need to fix
Just let me click the button.
it. Sometimes we have to know what's wrong before we can know what's right. Okay. So for this one, we're going to tackle it a different way.
Okay.
We want to talk about Peachtree Street, and another way that you can make links accessible is by making it a QR code. So what we're going to do that is we're going to go to the link in question. Well, actually,
Okay.
just highlight it. You can do it this way. You don't have to go all the way to the
You
link.
know what? Actually, I already just
You've
have it in
already
the
got it.
background because
Okay,
I was
yeah.
I was just researching it. So it's
So
right
yeah,
here.
you can go ahead and you can right click on the page and make it a QR code. Should be able to do it that
Oh,
way. Yep, create QR
oh,
code for this page. Up, there it is. Up.
that's
You
cool.
can just grab that, copy,
Copy
and
back
then
to my
throw it in
PowerPoint.
there. Take that URL out of there.
Ooh,
Throw in, oh, it's huge.
is she big?
Size her down. Yeah, you can just
Hmm.
drag to make her small and just throw her in there
And take
and
this
take
guy
that
out.
out. And
Okay.
then there it is. We can make it a little bit smaller. But also, I want to talk for just a moment. So, one of the wonderful things when Elizabeth joined my team is she brought in a wonderful sense of artistry. Elizabeth has an art degree, and I was creating things accessible by absolutely making them accessible, and they were sometimes very, very ugly. And Elizabeth has brought to our
That's not
team
true.
making things very look pretty as well as looking accessible, and I'm endlessly appreciative for that fact. stylistically, I would tell you that I would not want the experience to be those two top things to be a link and the bottom to be a QR code. What I would want is either QR codes for each of these items so that they knew the same place to return or the same method of information, or I'd want hot links for all three of them. For our sake of demonstration, we're mixing and having a little of both, but I think for my sense of style, I would want to have all three because I feel like that's the way I'd want to communicate.
Pick one.
Pick one, exactly. Now, let's just go ahead and hammer in. Saying click here is not something you ever want to do in when you're
Right.
using accessible links. Because again, if you had all three of these links and they just said click here, and then each of them went to a different place, the person who is using their accessible technology to navigate this page would just hear click here link, click here link, click here link. They wouldn't hear Helen link, hope you like it link, Peachtree Street link. And that is the goal. For them, they have the information they need to know whether or not that's a link they even want to deal with or not. If you're not sure, you're like, well, all three of these are like references to citations. Okay, then it's citation one, citation two, citation three. Give them a title to where they understand what information they're trying to navigate. Okay?
Makes sense.
So, do you feel ready to send this to 5 to 10 friends?
You know what? Honestly, now that we've looked back over the slideshow, I really like Georgia, but I'm a little afraid that maybe people won't want to visit as much as I think
Oh
they will.
no. Oh, well, but see, they will because they'll want to meet us.
Oh, okay, that's true. We're
We're
here.
adorable. Yeah, we're super
And the
great.
late fall is very nice.
Yes, late fall
That
is
1 week.
gorgeous. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all for coming, and we will see you next month or two when we navigate another accessibility issue.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.